special glow. Welcome to our life's grand show, our daily drip show. Life's a vibe, you know. Tell your friends, tell your cuz, spread some love, it's a must. Our daily drip show. Life's a vibe, you know. Tell your friends, tell your cuz, spread some love, it's a must. Wake up, babe, it's time to glow. Routine check before we go. Coffee.
Midnight shadow, city glow, neon signs. Urban genius, minds intertwined. 3 hosts cooking, no kitchen required. Stepping out fresh, whole crowd is.
Raindrops falling like life's endless beat. In the street we move with swagger on repeat. Neon lights reflecting on the wet concrete. In this daily drip shows hypnotic heat. Every step we take, synchronized and bold. Underneath the storm, our stories unfold. In the city glow, our fashion never old. We drip in style, conquer hearts uncontrolled. Watch us move, watch us glide. Through the rain and the night we slide. Drip too strong, you can't hide. Join the show, let's ride this tide. Rhythms pounding, heartbeat, bass so deep we don't stop. Don't wait for the dreams we keep. Umbrella spinning, dancing in our sleek leap. In this nightly play, there's no time to sleep. Lightning flashes, sky turns bright. In the downpour, we're the light. Raindrops whisper, don't lose sight. Catch the vibe, take flight tonight. Watch us move, watch us glide. Through the rain and the night we slide. Drip too strong, you can't hide. Join the show, let's ride this tide. Raindrops falling like life's endless beat. In the street we move with swagger on repeat. Neon lights reflecting on the wet concrete. In this daily drip shows hypnotic heat. Every step we take, synchronized and bold. Underneath the storm, our stories unfold. In the city glow, our fashion never old. We drip in style, conquer hearts uncontrolled. Watch us move, watch us glide. Through the rain and the night we slide. Drip too strong, you can't hide. Join the show, let's ride this tide.
Rain
Raindrops fall on city pavement, washing secrets in the dark. Daily drip, the crowd's amazement. Knowledge streaming comes to spark. Thunder in the nighttime sky.
Get them ready. What up? What up?
Hey y'all, it is me, Jem Jones, riding solo today. Welcome to our daily drip show. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Sorry about the delay a little bit, but hey, we're here, we're rolling, and we're here to talk about Diddy and what happened in the previous week. So y'all have that recap going into week 4. Like I said, before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button. Really helps the algorithm, helps us get our message out to more people. Make sure you check out our community tab where we're asking you what types of content you would like to see more of from us. If you like the Diddy content, please let us know. And if you'd rather hear more political news and so forth, click that on the poll as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get into Diddy. So if you don't know what's going on, I would be super surprised. But let's see, it was Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Puff, Brother Love, I think was his last alias that he had. All the same person. He's the bad boy. I want to say he might be the CEO. But yeah, he used to rock with Biggie, and he is being hit with a RICO charge, S trafficking, prostitution, and I think I'm missing something too. But he's getting hit with various federal charges, and this is not, he's being tried in New York, but a lot of these proposed crimes happen in California, specifically in LA. That's relevant for what we're about to talk about here. So, yes. So, make sure y'all keep checking in because lots been going on. So, if you don't remember last week, we ended on Capricorn Clark. Capricorn Clark was one of Diddy's assistants. He's had many assistants, but this assistant was the one that was around for the Kid Cudi incident. If you don't know about Kid Cudi, go back to our last Diddy recap for week 2 because Kid Cudi or Scott Muscudi also testified. And so that's covered in week 2. We're not going to go back to that. The only thing we will bring up about that is that, arson charge. That's another charge he's being hit with as well. So because Diddy allegedly either set up or did blow up Kid Cudi's Porsche over dating Cassie. So that's the relevance in that. Capricorn Clark, which is the assistant we're going to talk about first. She was his assistant when that all happened, and kidnapping. That's another charge got too. He's getting faced with right now as well because he is based on her story. He kidnapped her to make her go to Kid Cudi's house. So let's get into Capricorn Clark. So some of this is going to be a little bit of week 2 and a little bit of week 3. Long story short, she was an assistant. She's somebody who does not have anything beyond, I believe, a high school diploma. She gets opportunity to work for Diddy. She gets hooked up to a headhunter, sent her resume to Diddy's team. She previously, she didn't work, I think, for Death Row, but she's associated with Suge Knight. And so what happened was the headhunter sent a resume and it was like, cool, she got experience, send her over. I believe she's making like maybe 50 or 60,000. Now people are like, oh, that's not a lot of money. Keep in mind, 10 years ago, 50K is hit a little bit different than 50K now. If I had to make a guess, $50,000-$60,000 from 10 years ago would be the equivalent of making 6 figures. Like it's that much in inflation at this point, but that's not here or there. So just keep that in mind as we talk about her. So she gets opportunity to work with Diddy to be his assistant. That includes obviously cleaning up behind some of the F offs that includes getting people from X to Y to Z. That's basically from what she said, it's just to make him happy, which aligns with the other two assistants check out week 2. So her significance. So she is a part of like proving how the Rico's happening. Number one, she claims that he kidnapped her to take her to Cuddy's house when this happened because she knew the address, because um she knew about Cassie and Cuddy and where Cuddy lived. So allegedly he went to her house, boom, 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 knocked on the door. Hey, you rolling with me because you know how you didn't tell me? And she like, well, I thought they were just friends. Like, no, they're not just friends. Yada, yada, yada. So she gets in the he says, you come with me. I don't want to go. You're going. So because I don't want to go, you're going, get in the car now. That is what they're saying is the kidnapping component. That's just one of the times. So she goes to the house with Diddy. She's in the car. Diddy and one of his security get out. Allegedly she calls Lauren London first, which is her bestie. Then she calls Cassie. She happened to be on speakerphone. Cuddy heard that Diddy was at his house, so he was gonna pull up. So, and I guess they were at a hotel room or something. I don't know. They weren't in the house. But anyways, that's one situation, the kidnapping. And then she describes some kind of like some chase. Like she and Diddy were in the car chasing after Cuddy because Cuddy did pull up, didn't realize might not be a good idea. Cuddy did not testify to that in week 2, but Capricorn Clark did testify to that in week 3. Eventually, allegedly, Cuddy got away. So after that whole thing happened, um, that's her. She also said that he kidnapped her because some jewelry went missing. So if y'all remember 10, 15 years ago, ice and bling was big, right? Like Jacob the jeweler, you had all these people that rappers would shout out. And Diddy had gotten some jewelry for one of these events. So, anyways, the jewelry went missing, but she was supposed to have it. Jewelry went missing. So his people were like, you need to find this jewelry. Well, she couldn't find it. She had stopped them from going to the airport. So they said, no, 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 you're gonna find this jewelry. So for like 5 days, they made her take like a lie detector test every single day. They would make her take it, and every single day it was inconclusive. And so a lot of that stemmed from her knowing Suge Knight. So allegedly, one of her friends is Suge Knight's baby mom. So going all the way back to when he first hired her, that's also the third alleged kidnapping. That when she first got hired, he found out that she knew Suge Knight. He pulled up on her, took her to Central Park at night, and was like, "Look, if I ever find out anything is messed up, I will unalive you," allegedly. So this is proving a big piece of like the Rico because he's using force, he's using influence, he's using like she pretty much didn't feel like she could say no because this is her boss, right? So that is what they're alluding to. The defense, though, on the other side is like, but girl, regardless of you saying all this, you kept coming back. After you lost your job, he fired you twice. You still kept trying to come back. Matter of fact, last year you came pulling up like, hey, you got any of them jobs? And one of the lawyers sitting there was like, I was there. So if you're so scared of this person, why are you here? So that's basically a recap on Capricorn Clark. Once again, that was one of Diddy's assistants. Do me a favor, if you have not hit that like button, make sure you do that right now because we're going to go into the next witness. And that one is actually very much a doozy. Once again, Capricorn Clark, she is key in one of the components of proving Rico. So, I see Cassius Pay. Hey, how you doing? I see you hopped on here. So my co-host might be hopping on and some of the crew, but mostly this is going to be me. Cash Pay, let me know if you have anything you want to add because I don't want to ignore you.
No, I was just trying to hop in and see how I can help.
Oh, thank you so much. So that's Capricorn Clark. So the next witness to hop in is Deontay Nash. So let's talk about Deontay. So Deontay Nash is he's a stylist, and he is very saucy, very spicy from what I can read and have heard through other people. One of the people, just give him a shout out, that I've been following is Tisha Tells, Attorney Simone, and The Surprise Witness. So please check them out if you get a chance. They're pretty awesome. And they also give like actual real time information. Surprise Witness goes through what inner city press has been posting by shorthand. Please check him out. He's on X. And then Tisha Tells and Attorney Simone have actually been in the courtroom this week. So this is where I'm getting my information. They are people who were inside the courtroom. They were able to see the jurors, able to see what's going on. Okay, so just to give you context of where I'm getting my sources from. All right. Once again, hit that like button. So going on to Deontay, from what I understand, is very spicy. He is the stylist. He mostly styled Cassie. He had some run-ins. His testimony is basically like he's seen the violence against Cassie. He experienced violence against Diddy as well, because one time when Cassie like ended up with like a knot on her head, they were packing to go to, I want to say it was like like one of the OVO fests or something like that. And so she didn't answer her phone. And so Diddy pulled up on him like, hey, allegedly pulled up on him like, hey, answer my phone. And she was either sleeping on the couch or laying on the couch or something like that. He grabs her, starts beating her apparently. So Deontay jumps on his back, and then you'll hear about Mia in a second. She jumps on his back. He ends up flinging both of them, and Cassie knocks her head and had to get like stitches and stuff. So he's allegedly experienced violence, has seen multiple occasions of him whooping on Cassie, and also just using influence rather to sway certain things. So that was really his testimony. He's Cassie's friend, but didn't start off as Cassie's friend because he was actually hired by Diddy. So that's what. Oh, and then let me drop this gem before I move on to Mia. He dropped the gem of the Prince story. So allegedly, Prince had invited Cassie to one of his parties. So I think that's like a big deal. Like everybody doesn't get invited to do stuff with Prince. I guess she ain't tell Diddy. So Diddy saw her, allegedly, screw, came up there, started getting to her. Prince seen this, immediately called his people, said, nah, you're not gonna do that here. You're not going to do that here. So I believe Deontay told that story, which is crazy work because of all the people to step in, I never would have thought it was Prince, but apparently Prince don't play that. So he told Diddy, you're not going to do this in my space. We don't do this here, and you won't do that to that girl here. And as a matter of fact, stay away from that girl here. So keep that in mind when we think about what people know and don't know in the industry. So that's Deontay. Like I said, he's still friends with her. And the defense basically came back and was like, hey, what was the stylist? Trying to prove like you're more so a friend than you are like you're gonna obviously back Cassie versus like tell the truth. And he like, I have no reason to lie. I get no gain from this. I'm subpoena. It's not like I came up here and asked. I'm subpoenaed to be here. So that gives Deontay. Finally, we are going to talk about Mia. So Mia is not MIA. It's not Young Miami. It's a made up name, or they say pseudonym, because she is anonymous. So her name is not supposed to be presented to the public, although people have really worked very, very hard to try to figure out who said person is. It's obviously a lady. From what I understand, it is a Caucasian woman. So that has been provided, but please do not put in our comments who you think it is either. I don't want nothing to do with that. If the courts feel like she can be anonymous, then we should respect that as well. So Mia enters the chat. Mia is also an assistant. So she would have been an assistant in one of those years where Capricorn Clark was not. So this is a whole other woman. Capricorn Clark is a Black woman, and Mia is a white woman. And Mia, from what I understand, her job, she had to actually live in the space where Diddy was. That was a requirement. And she was very much into like production, wanting to learn the business, wanting to make her own types of um, film and different series and stuff like that. Now, here's the significance with her. She is victim, I think, number 4. There's supposed to be 4 victims. I think victim number 3 is not pulling up. I think that's allegedly Gina. She said, not doing it, or they can't find her. But Mia is victim number 4 because she allegedly was essayed by Diddy, gave a few instances. One is the first time she stayed, obviously, in the guest house. It was like a requirement for the job. Allegedly, he pulled up and just was like, "Hey, I'm about to just," he didn't even say that, just pulled up and just, put it in there. And she just said she didn't know what to do. She allegedly never told anyone. And she ended up telling her lawyer because she got asked about Diddy, and she got a lawyer, and the lawyer was like, "Well, you got to tell me everything. I need to know everything." So she told the lawyer that, and the lawyer's like, "Yeah, you need to talk to the prosecution." So that's kind of how she came up there. From my understanding, her demeanor was very meek, very like not wanting to look at people in the eyes, like very. And so it was hard for a lot of the jury, from what I understand. Um, and we'll talk about the jury in a second, from what I heard. Um, And so she just tells about her couple situations. One was that I described. Another one was she was organizing his closet and he just came out and just like took his thing out and just like trying to put it in her mouth, like, "You about to do this." And she they basically kept asking, like, why do you stay? Why do you keep doing it? And she said that this is so crazy. She did not want to make him think that he was not doing something right, that he was wrong, because then he would have to acknowledge he is wrong, and then that would be bad for her, essentially. And so when we think about like bad for her, that's hitting on Rico, right? The prosecution is trying to prove that all of these people are impacted by an organization. They cannot do certain things because there's so much, or like, you do this over here, you're impacted here. It's not just today, it's tomorrow, it's forever. It's your brand. Like, you're done. Basically, you're done. You better comply, be on his good side, or you're done. So do what he tells you to do. That's pretty much kind of the theme that they got going on here. So Mia talks about her essay experience. She talks about getting drugs for people. She talks about there was like a party bus of some sort, and they were doing the K word. That's the tranquilizers. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. You might get demonetized or whatever. But everybody was doing the K word of the tranquilizers, and she don't really mess with that, allegedly. And so she tried to, like, fake like she was snorting it, and he like, you think I ain't seen somebody fake it? No, you have to do it, because if you don't do it and everybody else is doing it, we think you ops. So you're gonna do it. So like, I think he like kind of basically like smashed her head to make her, snort some of it. And she tried to get it out, but you're not about to get that out. So stuff like that is assault worthy. Trying to think what else. Uh she went to oh, we got to hit on Michael B. Jordan in a second. So she's also, so allegedly, it wasn't just Kid Cudi. When Cassie went to film The Perfect Match, she met Michael B. Jordan. Deontay said he was gonna hook him. Deontay, if you go back to The Last Witness, Deontay said Michael B. Jordan fine, Cassie fine. So why not put them together? And then Mia allegedly was with Cassie in South Africa. And so she also was allegedly helping with Michael B. Jordan hookup situation, because when Cassie went to South Africa, they were on a break and Diddy was out in Miami kicking it with Gina, which is allegedly victim 3. So keep that in mind. So while Cassie was in South Africa, this Mia, personal assistant, they're hitting her up. Hey, I need you to get back here now. Apparently, Mia used her own money. And she was like, I can't afford to just pay for a ticket back to South Africa. I'm so sorry. They're threatening her job. She's lost her job more than once. They've threatened her job more than once for being insubordinate, and they would like withhold her pay for being insubordinate. Crazy work. So I don't even think it's necessary. It's alleged, but it's kind of not because she ended up suing Bad Boy for false when you fire somebody, you should falsely like unemployed basically. So her and her lawyers, I think, asked for 10 million. She got 200K. The lawyers got 200K, but the 200K was from bonuses and overtime that she should have gotten. So of course she was out there. Like, think about that. Like, if this is the money you're living off of, I know $200,000, especially, 5 years ago, like 200K is pretty good, but I don't know about 200K and you making that stretch the rest of your career. So if this is the only experience you have, same thing with Capricorn Clark, this is also where the prosecutions trying to prove RICO. You have these people who don't have experience outside of this industry, and you are such an impact in this industry that they can't go anywhere. Going back to Capricorn Clark, she provided an experience where she interviewed for a job. So this is that assistant I talked about earlier. And like allegedly Diddy pulled up like to her interview. Clearly she didn't get the job and had a horrible time getting a job. So that's like the part where they're proving the enterprise. They're basically being bullied out of the industry. What's hard is when you talk to everyday people and you're like, "Oh, I just been bullied so bad. I can't work in this industry anymore." They're gonna look at you like, "Okay, well, go wait tables. Okay, well, go sweep floors. Like the rest of go work at the cookie factory. Like, what you mean? You can go get another job. It may not be the job you want, but you can get another job." If you've ever worked in like a niche industry and it's what you want to do, that's devastating to the point where they don't wanna work, probably want to work or feel like they can work anymore. Going into Mia, like I said, Mia enters the chat. Apparently, she hasn't had a job since. She said she's tried to have, like, jobs like a stable job, and the things that people would say just on how her communication was allegedly with, like, Diddy and team, they would be like, "Hey, like, how's that report going? Do you have the report?" And she would have, like, a full-on panic attack because when Bad Boy said it, it meant I don't care if you're in the middle of XYZ, do it now. An example of do it now, allegedly, and I'm gonna leave y'all with me on this one. I'm trying to think, who was it supposed to be? One of the producer is supposed to be coming there or like the Wi-Fi or something. And I want to say, I don't want to misspeak. I'm pretty sure it's Cassius Pay is one of your favorite producers of all time. So we'll just leave it at that. So that producer was allegedly at Diddy's, I think they call it like Daddy's house or whatever, and supposed to be collaborating, and the Wi-Fi went down. And so they're like, "Well, you need to figure it out." And she's like, "Well, she's been so busy all day, she did not change her feminine products." And so she was like, "I need to go do that, and then I'll fix it. I'll do that then." I guess he allegedly didn't want to hear that. Took a bowl of spaghetti and threw it at her, and so then they like made fun of her, I guess. And so she had blood like dripping down her leg. So that's how much of I do not care what you have going on, do it now. That's the picture that the prosecution's painting. Now, let's talk about the defense here. The defense showed before she got up off the stand for the weekend because she will be on the stand tomorrow, which is Monday. She was on the stand. I want to say she did the prosecution on Friday, partial defense on Friday. She might have been on the prosecution on Thursday as well. But the defense came back and was like, okay, so all these things happening, you stayed. Yeah, yeah, I did say, okay, okay. That's really unfortunate that you're a victim, but you said these things happened to you like on Diddy's birthday, right? She was like, yeah. He's like, okay, so let's use these social media posts where you wishing him happy birthday on his birthday. If you were so upset about it, what you doing wishing him happy birthday? What you doing reaching out to him when Kim Porter passed? What you doing reaching out to him when Uncle Paulie passed? Like what why would you reach out to somebody? And so then like me is kind of like, well, victims kind of do stuff like that. And the lawyer I'm talking about is Brian Steele. Now, if you don't know who Brian Steele is, then that means you were not following the Young Thug trial. He is an excellent defense lawyer. And so he really caused a lot of doubt of if you believe her, because what they're trying to basically prove is that she's acting so tore up there and that she's not actually that tore up about it, and that some of the essay, well, not some, that the essay was consensual, and essentially she's saying it's essay because she doesn't want to make Cassie upset and their friends. So the defense is really trying to put some doubt in her character, and they're actually not doing a bad job of it. But that's me in a nutshell. Before I wrap this up, let's talk about the experts. So they had the LAPD and they had the arson experts. LAPD because Kid Cudi had a break in into his house where there were gifts unwrapped. We talked about that in week 2. Arson, as we talked about in week 2, Cudi's Porsche got blown up. So they had both of them up there. LAPD is like, hey, yeah, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of things coming back about, any of these issues. So which kind of signals foul play in the LAPD. Mia, as example, gave an example where she got a speeding ticket. She was supposed to get a speeding ticket, and she told them that she was on her way to go. Her boss is Diddy. They're like, "Well, get him on the phone. Get him on the phone." So she called Diddy. Police officer, ha and kikiing with him on the phone. "Are you good? No ticket." Crazy work. So kind of saying like there's some foul play going on with LAPD, and then the arson, they could not get prints on the Molotov that blew up the car. They got a partial print of a female. That's about as far as they got. Now, the real question is, there's no more prints. They're gone. Not like missing, like they were destroyed. So either one of two things happened. The prosecution's leaning that this is orchestrated versus like, oh, my door is open. Orchestrated more so than like somebody set it up for these to just get magically gone. But what could also happen is when they called people to say like, "Hey, are you a witness to this? Is this relevant?" Ask them questions. Even Capricorn Clark, who we talked about as the first witness earlier in the week, she would not cooperate essentially with the arson person. So there is potential that they were like, "Well, look, this really ain't no case. Ain't nobody suing nobody. So let's just go ahead and get rid of them so we can make open some space." So the prosecution is putting that this was is putting kind of the inference that this was orchestrated under Diddy's command to get rid of them. Whereas the defense is kind of like, I mean, no one participated. So there's doubt with that. So like I said, there's also so this past week in week 3, the testimonies came from Capricorn Clark, wrapped her up, came from an arson specialist, LAPD, and then Deontay, which was Cassie Stylus, and Mia, who was Diddy's personal assistant for a time period. And so Mia is going to wrap up week 4, probably Monday, maybe Tuesday, but more than likely Monday. And from what I understand, they have not even dropped who's going to talk, which is interesting because they have so far the prosecution has been like, oh, so and so is going to come up. I've not heard that. Now, my last thoughts on this. I don't think I'll get him on the RICO charge. I'm not sure. I think I agree with Attorney Simone that they're gonna have to get somebody who's security to like kind of sign off on some of this. I'm not sure. I definitely think you're gonna get that prostitution charge though, because they can track that money has been moved from X, Y, Z to said person. So I think that trafficking, maybe, maybe arson. I mean, you ain't got no full print. Kidnapping. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how you prove kidnapping unless she had made a police report. So, but RICO, I think you have to prove two of the areas for RICO, and I think there's like proving it. Are they being run as an enterprise? I think they are doing a good job of showing there's a lot of people who make all this kind of happen. And there's a lot of people scared to talk, scared to there were people who were scared to leave something that they're expressing is so traumatic. And the why really is, I mean, if you saw the assault going on, I mean, you're not gonna be jumping at the bit to you're gonna have to figure out how you can sneak out. But I mean, you're kind of like dead to the industry, but also like you don't know if he gonna hit you next. Y'all saw that video? That was not a love tap. He kicked that girl. He was kicking that girl. So, and that was in the open. That wasn't even in the room. So I'm not sure, but I do think it's gonna be a crazy trial. Check out our last live. We do talk about the pardoning potential for Diddy with his relationship with Trump. I don't know about that either. I don't know. He's a Democrat and Trump is not. So who knows what's going to happen? But I'm definitely going to stay tuned, and I will give y'all a recap for week 4 next week as well. Like I said, some people you can follow is Inner City Press on X. On YouTube, you can follow Tisa Tells, Attorney Simone, and the Surprise Witness. Surprise Witness is live going over what the Inner City Press is talking about and the shorthand. But yeah, it's crazy work. It's crazy work. And it's also, it's also sad. So my thing and my last part on this is, we have to also teach our young people that you don't have to go through that. Like y'all, there's plenty of other jobs. Like you don't you don't have to do all that. You may not be able to do the things that you want to do. You may not be able to be in that industry, but you definitely don't have to get whooped on. You don't have to get peed on. You don't have to get all this other crazy stuff that's going on. You can work a job, make a decent living, and go home. You don't have to do this. So I hope this message hits somebody. I don't know if it's because people don't have family, because it seems kind of like a theme with Diddy is people who don't have family, or like maybe they don't have a figure who gonna tell them you don't need to do this. I have no idea, but I'm here to tell you, you don't gotta do that. Like there's so many jobs, there's so many opportunities. You go to school, you get education in something else, or learn a new skill. In our last slide, we talk about trades. So many things y'all can do. I don't. I mean, sitting there getting kicked just to be at the party is wild to me. But that's just me. All right, y'all. So I got for y'all today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all you know I get kicked so y'all could be in the scene with Diddy and all the rest of them, or what y'all about to do? Let me know. That's not for me. But comment, share this, hit that like button. If you haven't, hit that like button. And also let me know, y'all interested in the Diddy recaps? Y'all interested in stuff going on in pop culture? Or y'all just interested very much into politics and news? Because there is so much to get into that. But yeah, this I just have to give y'all this Diddy stuff right now because it's just a lot going on. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Sunday. I hope that this was informative and fun. And once again, like I said, like, subscribe, comment, share this with 2 friends plus a family member. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Bye.
Echoing through storms at last. Droplets whisper paths unknown. Liquid wisdom.